Welcome to Omhint. My name is Pandit Jagannath Cassidy.
And my name is Vino Nityananda.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
And this question goes like this. A little bit ago, I was talking about tarot.
Yes.
And I was talking about intuition. So I'm wondering if you have any input about intuition, because you have so much vast knowledge.
Oh, yes. I can say quite a bit about intuition, actually. So intuition is, let's understand what intuition is not, because then it makes it easier to understand what intuition is. So generally in our life, we understand so many things, right? We have so much knowledge, etc. So this knowledge is based on something we've heard, something we've experienced, and the mind stores that information, and that information we use in our lives like that. So when our senses and the mind are engaged with information, that part is not intuition. That's just anything that we already know.
Right,
Because
right.
intuition goes beyond normal. It allows you to see things, to understand things, to actually experience something that has not even happened yet.
Right, right.
It's not happened. And yet you're able to see it ahead of time. It's a little like clairvoyance. You're seeing ahead. Or you're able to understand something that's going to happen in the future before it happens. Like that. So, and then we can understand intuition as I described the three types of intuition there are. Because there are three types of intuition. There is intuition, which is at the basic level. Then there is even a higher intuition than that called counterintuition. It's called counterintuition because in this world, it wouldn't be considered intuitive. It would be considered, wow, that doesn't make sense from this world's point of view.
Right.
But actually, it makes a lot of sense. But it's called counterintuitive. And then higher than counterintuitive is an area that most people, very few people know about. It's called para-intuition. Para-intuition goes beyond counter-intuition. And so how it works is that intuition actually is in the arena of the intelligence and the ego.
Right.
When these two are operating beyond the mind, that's when we're able to see things and know things that haven't happened yet. Like that. And so we say, wow, it was my intuition that something like this was going to happen. And it happened. Why? Because the intelligence and the ego kicked in a way that allowed us to see things or know things or experience even something that hasn't happened.
Right, so it's beyond the mind, which is just accepting and rejecting.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
The mind is based on current and past experiences.
Right.
Not just this lifetime, previous lifetimes as well. Because we were talking about spirit, possession.
Yeah.
Well, the body travels from one lifetime to another, carried by three subtle elements: the mind, the intelligence, the false ego.
Right.
They're called the subtle body.
Right.
So the subtle body takes the soul from one life to the next life, even in this lifetime. Because we know that every cell in our body lives for a maximum of 7 years. So if a person is 35 years old, means that their cells have changed 5 times. It's not the same body.
Yeah.
So there's reincarnation happening right in this body, as we're in this body, because the cells are dying, new cells are being born, but the soul is continuing to carry on, and what carries it on is the subtle body.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm definitely not the same as I was when I was 2.
Exactly. And then what happens is that when we leave our bodies in this lifetime, then we go to the next lifetime, and whatever body we get, which is based on our desires and our activities.
Right.
In Sanskrit, the words used are guna karma. Guna means our nature, our desires, what we'd like to have happen in our lives. And karma means those things that we've done in our lives and the results of our activities, like that. So that carries us into the next life. The three subtle elements which make up the subtle body carry us like that. So these subtle elements starts with the mind, but then the other two are intelligence and false ego.
Right.
So when the intelligence and false ego start kicking in better, at a higher level, then we become intuitive.
Right.
And so there's training methods how to do that, how to make the intelligence work better, how to make it work at a higher level. And the same with the ego, how to make it happen at a higher level. Because ego starts first with false ego,
Right.
the false notions. Then we get past all the false notions and we get to the real idea.
Right,
And that's
right,
our real
right,
ego,
right.
that's our real identity.
Right,
So
right,
when we kick
right,
into
right.
our real identity, then intuition really works very well.
I would imagine.
Highly intuitive. A person becomes highly intuitive. And, there are so many uses to high intuition. In relationships, intuition can be very important. In whatever professional work we do.
Right. Well, because I
can
would
be very
imagine, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm getting, I would imagine that if you were operating more from your real ego,
Right.
you wouldn't be seeing other people through your lens, but you'd
Exactly.
be seeing the situation for what it really was.
As it is.
Yeah, as it is.
Right.
And it'd be a way better way
Absolutely.
to interact with people.
It's a little like if you're wearing blue glasses, then everything looks blue, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
actually, if you're wearing clear glasses, then you can see clearly, and everything is as is, like that. And then in intuition, because I work a lot with businesses, they like to know trends. They like to know what the market is going to be like in the future, what business is going to be like in the future, what are people going to be doing in the future. And intuitive people can actually give a lot of information in that area, and businesses actually get a lot of advantage from doing that.
Right, right.
But higher than intuition is counterintuition. Now, why it's called counterintuition is because it works in a very different way. Intuition works with the energy of creation. It works with the energy of creating things.
Right, right.
But whatever is created must also die, right?
Right.
If it is a beginning point, it must have an end point. Whereas counterintuition works on a manifestational level. It already exists. It's just that you're manifesting it.
Right. Oh,
It's
that's
not there because you can't see it, but it was there, but you couldn't see it. Now you can see it. So that's why it's called counterintuitive. So counterintuitive is, I give a good example of how moving your hand in a particular direction, which is called, clockwise,
Right.
actually becomes anti-clockwise. The same movement is anti-clockwise.
Right,
Because as you
right.
move your hand at the bottom in a clockwise position, you're taking it up, 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 up. You notice it's become counter.
Right, right, right.
Clockwise, right? So clockwise motion is counterclockwise because it's two different points of view. One, you're looking down at it. The other one, you're looking up at it.
Right,
so
right,
obviously
right.
the direction
Well, it's just
changed.
like as if you draw the number 6,
Right.
and if you look at it from this side, then it's a 6. But if you look at it this way, then it's a 9, right? Yeah.
Exactly, like that, yeah. Or also in a mirror, when you look
Right.
at yourself in the mirror, right? What you think is your right hand. For
The left hand moves, yeah.
Yeah, the left hand for the person in the mirror, it's the left hand, right?
Yeah.
So for the reflection, it's the left hand. So like that, but it's a little different. In this case, it's a little different. It's not just that. It's not that one is just a reflection of the other. This is your consciousness has moved into a much higher level now. And it's become counterintuitive. And in the counterintuitive area, it's actually now the consciousness that is working. Beyond the intelligence, beyond the ego, is the consciousness. And beyond the consciousness is the soul.
Right.
And beyond the soul is the all-pervasive energy that is the energy of the Lord that goes everywhere. And that's why a lot of people consider God to be a form of energy.
Right, or like a light, right?
A light.
Yeah.
Exactly. So counterintuition works on those 4 levels. Intelligence, which has risen to the level of now the consciousness, and then to the soul, and then to the level of Brahmand, or what we call the all-pervasive energy
Right,
of the
right.
Lord.
Right, right.
So now when intuition is working in that area, you become counterintuitive. Now, not only you can see things better, but you can see the real purpose of why you're doing what you're doing.
Right, right,
And you
right.
can see,
You don't just see the results
Right.
of what's happening.
Right.
You see the causes
causes now.
of what's happening.
Where's the origins? What are
Yes,
the causes?
yes,
What is
yes.
the ultimate purpose?
Right,
So
right.
that now you can pull out of temporary lifestyles, because in
Right.
this world, we get born, we live, and then we die. That's a
Right.
temporary life, right?
Right,
So
right,
life is
right,
temporary.
right, right.
May last 100 years, 150 years. In other ages, it lasted much longer. In
Right,
one of the
exactly.
ages, it went all the way to 100,000 years.
Exactly, like the King Yayati, that
Yeah.
story I was telling.
Right, right. How long did he live?
He lived like 50, 60,000 years.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So anyway, but even that is considered temporary life. Even then is temporary. Actually, one of the persons was given a boon that he may live as long as Brahma lives.
Right.
And Brahma lives for a little over 311 trillion years.
Right.
That's with a T.
Yeah.
And he was given that life. And then someone said, why don't we build you a nice house so that you have a place to stay because you're going to stay for such a long time. They say, well, life is short. What's the point of building a house? You know?
Well,
311 trillion years for him was a short period of time because it's temporary.
right. Because these are, but it's very funny. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's something I noticed. When I was a child, summertime used to last forever. You know what I mean? Even a day, it was like,
Because it was too hot.
well, no, just the perception of time.
Perception of time.
3 months was like an eternity.
There was a holiday time or something?
Yeah, it was a holiday time.
Oh, that's why.
There was a
It's
holiday
school
time. We got school was over.
With friends,
With
you're there in
friends.
school, it's very fast.
We got 3 months, right? We got 3 months off, but it seemed like it was
Eternity.
forever.
Yeah. It was
And
boring.
even a day used to seem like it lasted longer.
Right, right.
But now that I'm older,
Right.
it's like the days are like
Faster, right?
fast.
Just flashing by.
I'd
I'm noticing
imagine
that
if you
too.
lived for 100,000 years,
Time would just flash by.
time would just
Yeah, it's gone. Because the smarter you become, the more interesting life becomes, the greater you're able to do. Unlike what most people think, is when you get older, it's going to get boring, and I don't want to become old, I stay young. But actually, for those of us who are able to get into the area of counterintuition, old life is far more interesting than we were younger. We are able to do much more now as older people than we were able to do younger. In my life, for example, I've noticed now I'm doing more than I've ever done when I was a younger person. I had a lot of energy then. I have a little less energy now physically, but I have a lot more mental energy, intellectual energy, conscious energy, like that. Those energies are kicking in, and those guys are more powerful.
Oh, right,
They're
right.
actually able to do a lot,
Well,
get a lot more
they're
done.
more the strings that pull the meat puppet, right?
Make the levers,
Yeah.
the levers move,
Yeah.
like that. So that's counterintuition. And then you can go higher than counterintuition. It's called para-intuition. And para-intuition takes us to the other worlds. It takes us out of the material world to the spiritual world where everything is eternal, where everything is always manifested, right? It always existed, it exists now, and it will always exist in the future. So anybody has a body. That body is eternal, means it's ever fresh. It doesn't get weaker. It becomes stronger over a period of time. Just like in our life, we see in the earlier ages, it does get a little stronger for a while. Then it sort of levels off. Then it starts getting weaker, right? So in the spiritual world, the body only becomes, every day and every moment, it becomes stronger than it was the previous moment. So it becomes more and more powerful, right? And we're able to do many more things. It's just amazing what can happen in the spiritual world.
There's a saint. His name's Jai Tirtha.
Okay.
He's the great grand disciple of Madhvacharya. He was a great philosopher. And he said, one way you can know the nature of the soul in the eternal world, he said, is the closest thing we get to it in the material world is if you go to, when you go, during your day, your body wears out. And for a brief little moment, you go into sleep. And then you come up, and all of a sudden your body is rejuvenated.
Yeah, it's refreshed. Yeah.
He said that's like an experiential way of understanding what it's like in the spiritual world.
Wow, you're always refreshed.
Always refreshed. Always refreshed. In a state of being refreshed.
You never get tired.
Never get tired. Yeah, never get tired.
It's amazing, it's just amazing.
It's like a state of constant refreshment.
Yeah.
That was the way he described what's moksha like, or what's the spiritual world is a place where it's like as if you're in that constantly being refreshed or replenished. That was the example.
So when you get into para-intuition, the benefits are much bigger because in para-intuition, you can travel to other planets. You can move beyond the planet Earth. You can move yourself even within planet Earth from one place to another because you have para-intuition. You have the energy that actually allows you to do greater things. Now, people who are para-intuitive don't move themselves around like that. The reason they don't is because they see great purpose in serving others so that they can learn about these things and then they can become great people in their own lives. Because the whole idea is, and the reality is, there is only one God. It's not like there are many gods and these gods are fighting with one another and they're jostling for who's going to become the president amongst the gods, who's going to vote for them, the different parties. Like that. It's not like that. The Lord is eternally the Lord. And there is one original eternal Lord from whom everyone and everything comes, right? So we are all children of that person. We're all, so we, in the Vedic sciences.
So I guess another way you might want to say that so that people could understand would be that, it's not like there's this religion God
Right.
or that religion
No,
God.
no,
They're
that's
all there's one deity
Right.
which kind of is all these people are worshiping, but maybe they're not aware that they're
Yes.
all worshiping the same thing.
Yeah, they're seeing the person in different ways.
Yeah.
And also the person may manifest himself in different ways, and so they're seeing the different manifestations. So like
Right.
that, there's a lot of interesting things about that, and you know, we will in our
So that all the religions are equal.
yes,
Right.
In
That's what you're saying.
Yes, in our you know, in our seminars we talk about this, you know, and religion itself is an equalizer because religion really means to love God.
Right.
So loving God is equal no matter which faith you come from. Loving God means to love God.
Right,
You see what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
But that is real religion. Most people don't know that. They think religions are rituals and there's a way to control people and have congregations
Right,
and big
right.
churches and mosques and
Exactly.
temples and everything else
we're not
like
talking
that.
about that when it comes to religion.
That's
We're not
not-
talking about scammers or
The idea is not control. The idea is love. In love, they cannot be controlled. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the Lord loves us so much, He doesn't control us. He actually gives us freedom.
Right.
That's real love.
Yeah.
So when religion actually comes to that point, people will accept it. Right now, most people don't want organized religion because religions don't act like religions. They actually act like businesses, but with the brand of God. You know?
Yeah.
They brand themselves. I'm a God man or something like that.
No, I know it's funny, but basically what I've come to see religion as these days is basically it says you fill out a form
Right.
of your prejudices and your preferences,
Right.
and then whichever group of people fit in that category, then you can. Oh, that's my people.
Well, I can accept that's how you feel. That's not how I feel about it. But anyway,
Well, no, I mean,
we're entitled to our opinions.
Well, no,
about that.
I mean,
But it's
as
true.
far
There
as
are a lot of religions who are doing that, and
there's
that's
a lot.
why it gives a bad name.
Not
to the other
that
religions.
religion in general.
Yeah.
I mean, not real religion, but just
Yeah.
the way that it's manifested in
That
the
is
world.
true, and that's why people are turned off against it. You're right. You're absolutely right. It's just that there are some religious institutions and some religious people who are genuine.
Oh, yeah.
And those who are genuine, you can tell because they're not trying to control you. They're not trying to make you their follower. They're not trying to dip into your pocket and put money in their own pockets. They're not looking for fame. They're not looking for having sex with the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever nowadays people chase in terms of sex. This type of things. It's not happening like that for those people. So actually, in the para-intuition area, what actually operates is now pure spirituality. And the pure spirituality starts with the soul and then moves to the level of the all-pervasive energy of the Lord known as Brahman, and then moves to the Lord sitting in our hearts. We have a spiritual heart here. The Lord sitting in the spiritual heart is called the super soul or Paramatma. So it really reaches that level. It's an amazing level to see God inside yourself, and inside of others. It's amazing, amazing science, amazing experience. And then higher than that, the origin, the cause of all causes, the Lord himself, from whom everybody manifested the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like we say. So in our scriptures described as Krishna or Gauranga, like that, So, and then other scriptures described as Christ and some Allah, like that, Jehovah. So different names given to the same person, but the idea is that it is that person at the highest level, is the origin of everything.
Right,
you see what
right.
I'm saying? Like that. So now the intuition rises to that level. Right up to that level, to the level of the Lord himself. And the Lord, of course, has this feature of the male and the female feature. The male feature is Krishna, the female is Radharani, like that. So
Right.
it's not discriminatory in terms of the sexes or the genders or the cultures or the, you might say, the different faiths that people have in this world. It's all inclusive. It's totally integrative. Totally integrative. That's why it's called yoga. Yoga means the linking process because the consciousness rises through 11 different levels. And so when the 11th bottom level to the highest top level, first level, when they integrate with one another, it's called yoga, the linking process. So whereas nowadays yoga is really physical contortions or breathing exercises. And again, it's going back to control, making money out of the system, controlling people. And there are benefits, so people do want to practice yoga. And yoga is very good, but a practice at a properly, totally integrated level, it's much more powerful.
Right.
Delivers much better results. integrates people, brings about love and affection between people.
Right, right. Well,
people.
no, exactly.
Right.
That's the thing.
That's right. And at the
That's
same
so
time,
important.
it recognizes
Well,
individuality.
That's what I was trying to get at.
At the same time, it recognizes individuality in the sense that, like how sometimes we see white people want to be with white people. That's natural. There's nothing wrong with that. And, sometimes you see Indian people want to be with Indian people like that. That's nothing unnatural about that. It's just that when it becomes like, I am better than you, and then I want to become the great leader, and then you all become my followers. That's when the problem happens, and then the fights happen, the quarrels, the inconsistencies happen. So there's a course that we've designed to teach these 3 levels of intuition. So we're hoping people will take advantage of that. At the right time, we'll roll the course out. At the present time, we're doing so much work that there's some other things that are happening that we need to put in place first, like that. But thank you for the question. That was a wonderful question.
Yeah.
Thank you.